Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this special, exciting edition of Tea Time with Bunky. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. That song was by my guest. That's her title album, title of her song, He's Been Good, Miss Tiffany. I would like to give a shout out to Zeno FM, where all of the radio stations that I'm affiliated with are powered on, which is LLR Ohio, the Tattoo Shop Radio, Sasquatch Boot Hill Radio, Cuzzo FM Radio, Wapter Music FM, Culture Shock Radio, Southern Soul Gold, and Confidence Radio, all on Zeno FM, powered by Online Radio Box. I would like to remind everybody that elections coming up. Remember, know your local politicians. Elections are November 7th. A big congratulations, really quick, to the Yates Foundation. They just will be opening up the old hotel in Liberty, New York for the veterans. It's going to be full-time housing for the veterans. So shout out to them. So done with that, let me do the quick bio of my guest because her time is precious and I'm just excited to have her. Miss Tiffany Coleman McGee is Mississippi's first multi-award winning Christian hip hop gospel rap artist and the Best of Mississippi Awards 2022 Female Entertainer of the Year. In 2019, Miss Tiffany made history as the first ever female solo rap artist to receive an official stellar gospel music award nomination for rap hip hop gospel CD of the year for her debut album entitled I Ain't Preaching to the Choir. She is the first female gospel rap artist in history to perform on the legendary Bobby Jones Presents, can't wait to talk to her about that, television showcase, and the first gospel rapper to be awarded and honored during the 40th annual Mississippi Music Awards as Mississippi Spotlight Artist of the Year and Woman in Gospel Making Things Happen. To date, she has been awarded over 30 times on various platforms and have received dozens more nominations. Tiffany is an active voting member of the Recording Academy Grammy. As an actress, she was featured on Fox's Empire, Queen Sugar, and NCIS New Orleans, in addition to other well-known cable and network television series. Additionally, she is this isn't enough. Additionally, she is a 3-time published author, model, and host. She presents a brand new timeless title track, which you guys just heard, with the smooth, soulful sound entitled He's Been Good. Artists featured on He's Been Good. The album includes Emmanuel, a.k.a. The Truth, Myron Byron, Dove Award-winning super producer Jimmy Tribe Bishop Hicks, Robert Curry of Day 26, and MC Nice, and many more. So without further ado, there's more. And we want to congratulate her on her recent award in Paris, France, as the Celebrity Artist of the Year. So without further ado, we have Miss Tiffany.
Hello, how are you?
I am wonderful. Blessings to you. Blessings to you.
Likewise, blessings on you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. I'm looking for the thing. Thank you so much. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky.
Thank you.
Congratulations on everything you've done and doing.
God is good. God is good.
Ain't he though? Ain't he? He is so good. I hope I got your bio right. I got your bio right.
You did get my biography correct. Yes, you did.
And
and of course today we just found out that I was nominated in 2.
Oh, she just froze. Oh, right there you go. Okay, I'm sorry. You were nominated in 2.
In the Rap Hip Hop Gospel Album of the Year and Rap Hip Hop Song of the Year for the 2023 Stellar. So you wouldn't have had that because I sent you the bio, I guess a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half or 2 ago, and this just happened today. So that would make me a 3-time Stellar nominee, and we're hoping to bring at least 1, if not 2, of those Stellars home in July to Jackson, Mississippi.
You got it, because that album.
Wow.
Let me tell you, I put it on my office. The office is like a half an hour away. By the time I was home before I realized it, I was I was like, oh my God, I was breaking all kind of limits. But and I don't listen to hip hop because I had
Yeah.
excuses. I had excuses. But so we want to talk about your album, but I want to find out first, were you always into gospel hip hop or was it regular hip hop? Like where did that come from?
Yeah, so I wrote my first. I was writing poetry when I was about 7. When I was 11, I wrote my first song, like rap song, with one of my cousins. She was singing on it, and by the time I was 18, I started recording. And yes, it was secular music at the time. And I always, of course, have to share my testimony. I was the only female in a group with 2 guys, and we had been recording some music and everything, and people started to gravitate to it. And then we were having, it was an Easter Sunday and Resurrection Sunday, and we were going to go to one of the guys' apartments and burn some copies of the latest song that we had just recorded earlier in the week, and we were going to bring it back and let some folks listen to it. And we never made it back because he lost control of the vehicle. We ended up being in a car accident, which sent me into the intensive care unit and in a coma, and that's how that happened. And so, of course, um, when God healed me from that, I was not going to go back and, you know, use my gifts in a way that were not positive, in my sight and even in God's sight. And so I did nothing as far as songwriting and recording for years. I stopped and I just focused on college, on academics and family and everything. And then I was sitting in the car one day and God spoke to me and um, and told me that I was going to start back rapping and that it was going to be gospel and I was going to spread the message of Jesus through rap, and he was going to send me to the nations. And flash forward 10 years later, and you read all of the accomplishments, but it was so much work, so much street evangelism and community work, serving, that went in between those times and even preceded those times. And it's still going on now. Like it's many things that are not a part of the biography that I am a part of. And it has been the foundation of my ministry. And I've been blessed, along the way. It hasn't been easy, but, God is good.
He is good. He's really good. And I'm really glad you made it through that accident, because
Oh,
he had a
wow.
plan for you. He had a plan for you. And
Yeah.
you said you were writing poetry at the age of 7.
Hmm.
And then your song, Running in Place, you mentioned the age of 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was that like your people, you have to get this album is like, when I say it ministered to me, it was amazing. So you were writing during that time period.
Yeah, I was writing more so in school. My teacher had given us an assignment. And see,
Hmm.
this is how I decided that I wanted to be an author and I wanted to write children's books too. I was in the first grade, I was 7, and my teacher, Miss Janice Brooks, told us to create our own book. And she gave us the materials for it. And, I illustrated it and I wrote it out. And they rhymed, but it was in the format of a book, right? And so we binded
Uh-huh.
it together and all of that. And when I remember taking it up to her desk and how excited she was and how she made me just feel like my book was just the best thing ever, right? And so
Hmm.
from that point on, I knew that I wanted to write books and I wanted to start with children's books. And that's just kind of how it happened. And so, yeah, I was writing poetry through school assignments, I would say. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's just kind of how I got started with that, with rhyming words together and making
Oh,
riddles.
that's a good way to start.
It
That's a good
was.
way to start. Yeah. Now, when you started to share your music, your poetry in the form of music,
Oh,
was it
yeah.
hard to get it accepted? Because it's clean, is you're talking about God, is inspirational, and people just don't want to seem to hear that. So was it hard to branch out into that?
It wasn't hard for me, I think, as it probably could have been had it been something I tried to do on my own.
Hmm.
But it was because God truly, truly spoke to me and called me that I held strong and would stand, in what I know He had assigned for me to do, and that was the purpose. right? So the gift was the vehicle, and but Holy Spirit with me the entire time. And yes, I faced rejection. Yes, I faced opposition. No people, didn't want to play it on the radio because there was a hip hop station, and then the gospel didn't want to play it because it was rap. And so I went
Right.
through all of that. But there was a during that time, and so
Hmm.
now things have progressed, things have changed a bit. Now people are, starting to mix the two, and so you may turn on a hip hop station and hear a gospel rap song. You may, turn on a gospel station and hear, a gospel rap song. And so, and for me, being an independent artist, being a woman in Jackson, Mississippi, the Bible Belt, and saying that I'm going to rap and I'm going to do it in the churches, right? Just imagine the things that I faced, and I could have very
Can
easily
imagine.
gotten discouraged and gave up, but it was because God spoke to me and told me to do this, and He showed me things, and I had visions, I had dreams, and I wanted to see what God said, and I needed for it to happen. He needed for it to happen. This
Hmm.
next generation needed for it to happen.
And that's what he said. He'll give you vision and dreams. Didn't he say that?
He
That's
did.
that's what he said. And your song, I Ain't Preaching to the Choir, you basically said it, um, that you wanted to go out and about and spread his word. And the
Hmm.
words to it, I ain't preaching to the choir because they already believe. I don't know how many times I've had that conversation with people.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if Jesus was here today, he wouldn't be in the church because they already saved.
Come
He's
on.
gonna be out in the streets.
That's where he was.
That's where, and I saw your video. I'm like, okay. Because I gotta do. I said, this is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that
Thank
I really like, I you got to understand me when I say I'm not a hip hoppy person. I'll
yeah.
find a reason not to. But this right here had me bopping, like head bopping, music loud in the car. That's so not me. That's so not me. But what was your favorite? What was on this album? What was your favorite one? Because there are 10 songs on this particular one. You were part of other projects, but
Hmm.
for this, what was your favorite? Did you have a favorite?
I have a lot. There are 11 songs on the project, and I think that in the beginning, I think I love all of them equally. I really do.
Yes.
But I have been saturating and listening to "He's Been Good" over and over and over again because it's a testimony to the goodness of God, and how in the face of adversity and challenges and everything that we go through, He'll take the good, He'll take the bad, He'll take the ugly, and still make something out of it and show you how good He is, even when you go through something that is hurtful. And so that song was ministering to me. And then as it continued to seep in, is my heart. I'm like, this is the single. As a matter of fact, this has to be the title of the album, because that's it. From in my past, now, and in my future, God has been good. He is good, and He will be good.
Yes.
Now and forever. He never changes. And so
No.
that, I believe, that's one of my favorites if I had to choose one. But my daughter, she loves running in place, and
Yes.
it came out at a time where I'm talking about being 8 years old, and she just so happened to be 8 at the time when it came out. She's turned
Okay.
9 now, so but she kept, Mama, play it again, put it on repeat, 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 and so it started to set in, and I've been listening to that one a whole lot too. But I
Yeah.
love all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to pick my top three, but I really couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I
Oh
had
wow.
one. No, it might have been like eight that I just kept. It was I
Wow.
the whole album was good and ministering, good enough for you to be nominated for the Stella Awards. And like
Praise
I've
the
told
Lord.
people who watched the show before who don't know what the Stella Awards is, it's the
Hmm.
gospel version of the Grammys and American Music
Yeah.
Awards, where it's not really honored on those platforms. But this is a whole church um award show. This is where you have church. This is where, yeah, and God is getting the praise and he's getting the honor and the artist because you follow God's plan for you. Oh,
Absolutely. Yes,
yes.
I did.
Okay. Now, I want to know about Bobby Jones Gospel.
Oh yeah.
How is that? How did that come about?
Someone saw the video for "I Ain't Preaching to the Choir" on social media and reached out. sent me a message, um, and I didn't, I didn't know her, really well. We had just met, I think, or got connected on social media somehow. But
Hmm.
she reached out and said that they had never had a female rapper on the platform before, and wanted to know if I was interested in being the first. That she loved the song and thought it would be a great fit, and that she wanted to connect me. So she connected me with the co-host, Dr. Merdine Gales, and we started to build a
Wow.
relationship and bond and talked and exchanged messages until it was time for me to come. And I went up to Nashville, drove up from Jackson to Nashville, and next thing you know, I was on the stage with Dr. Jones. We were laughing and having a good old time. Had dinner
Uh-huh.
and all of that stuff. So it was a wonderful experience. I love them. And we've even discussed about a return, to come and do it again. So we'll see what happens with that.
Like, how was your mind? What was going through your mind? Like, all this is going on. Like, you had from the accident to God telling you and showing you, like, all this is like coming into play right in front of you. Like, how are you feeling? Like, can you put it into words, like how you're feeling?
Sometimes some things, I always expect the unexpected. I will say that. I've told people that, I prayed to God and asked God to connect me to the right people in the right place at the right time, right? That if He called me to do this and He wanted me to do this, that I needed for Him to go before. But I
Mm,
always expect the unexpected. And I really put no expectations on anything because that leads to disappointment. And then that
mhm.
includes people. And so I really truly have yielded, to the Holy Spirit and to the Lord, and try and remain humble. And I'm nice to people. I'm kind. Is really truly who I
Yes,
am.
you
I
are.
don't believe in mistreating folks. I don't believe in making anyone feel ostracized or not a part. I'm from the South, and of course Mississippi is a hospitality state, and so wherever I go, I never meet a stranger. And I think because of that, when you carry something like that, people take notice, and so they build relationships with you, and they don't mind passing your name along or speaking
Mhm.
you up in a room that you haven't even walked into yet, or whatever the case may be. And that's just how it has been, and those doors have continued to open. And I would have to accredit it to the favor of the Lord, but also having favor with man and doing right and treating people the right way, and trying to have integrity and character while carrying this thing out. Like, um, it's there's a different day and age now, and as far as Christian rap is concerned, and things are starting to look a little different and change. And
I
so
don't
we
know
have to. I
what
think
just
that
happened
gospel wants
with the
someone who
internet,
is
but you know what?
blowing
That is
smoke.
nothing but the trick of the enemy. Because when you speak of the glory of God, that's what happened. The internet starts acting up, but
Yeah, it's all
that's all
good.
right. It's really all right. And talking about favor, she's frozen. But talking about the favor of God, when yeah, look, I was feeling it in. I was just telling them about the favor of God. When God has a calling and a purpose for you,
Yeah,
you're right. Doors will open for you that you didn't even know existed.
I promise. They really will. They really will. And it's just amazing how things get connected and how things manifest. You know what I mean? And we have to
I
be
know what
patient.
you mean. Yes.
You have to be patient and wait because God knows when, He knows who, He knows why, He knows where, and all of that. And if you trust Him to be the master orchestrator, to craft this blueprint
You
that's
better tell
already
it.
been done, you just have to have faith and step out on it and walk into it and trust your Creator and create with Him, you know.
You are so ministering. When I say you are ministering right now, you are, I'm just like, my
Girl,
spirit is just like I just want to cry because everything I'm a waterhead. I am, but only when people speak the truth. Because let me tell you, when I reached out to you, not knowing you could have shot me all the way down, but like how you said how you treat people, you guys, I'm telling you, this is genuinely how she is, and I was telling everybody. I was like, she's the nicest woman. She was
oh,
so nice to me. And
don't
you
make me cry.
no, but I'm just saying, like it was you didn't have to. You didn't
Yeah.
have to. And
You didn't have to. You didn't have to. So on the flip side, I don't like when artists don't, you know, share or promote the platforms that are sharing and promoting and supporting them. I don't like that, you know. And to me, what your work is just as important as mine. And without you, then I have no work. And without the artist, then y'all really have no work. And so why not together collaborate and let's push one another and continue to support one another. And so if anybody is acknowledging and recognizing anything that I'm doing in the name of the Lord, I'm going to put it out there because he called
I
them to
love
that
it.
thing too.
I love it. Just
Who am
so
I to hide it or to push it away or to, you know, not at least help to move things forward if possible? And it's only right.
they're, they're amazing.
Common sense to me, really. I don't
Yeah.
understand it. I don't understand when they don't do that.
uh, Aren't we supposed to treat people the way we want to be treated? Like that's my motto.
Absolutely. We're
That's
supposed to love. I know that much. And yeah, so yeah, I don't understand that part, but I don't think I've ever not taken an interview unless only time an interview may not have went forth if someone reached out and something happened and we had to reschedule and then the conversation fell off or something like that. But
Mhm.
I'm always open to anyone who wants to talk about what God is doing. You know.
I love it. I love it. Let's talk about France. Your pictures were unbelievable. You were looking some kind of fabulous. Let me tell you. I was like,
Thank
but you look
you.
at this and that food. You took the picture of that plate. I was like, but you look. I don't know. That's to me. I'm like that look kind of expensive. Like that's what's going
That's
on
some
through my
good
mind.
food.
Eh,
That's some
So,
good food.
well, is that your first time going to Paris?
It was my very first time ever going to Paris. I loved it. They've asked me to come back again next year, and I'm thinking I'm about to see y'all in about 6 months or something. I got to come back before next year, before this year is out. I loved it. The environment is beautiful. The people are beautiful. The culture is beautiful. The structures, the architecture, everything is really a mind opener. I could see myself living there in a place like that. It's just so much
Really?
flow and energy and love and support and activities going on. There is a lot. Paris is a busy place. It's wonderful.
Now, how did you feel when you got that call for that award? Like, that's all the way in Paris. Like, how did that feel?
A friend of mine, Tony Taylor, reached out. I met him in New York. So when I went to you see what I'm saying? How
Yes, I'm like, oh
God will
my God.
connect, and when you treat people right, and when you are a woman of your word or a man of your word, and you do the right things, then God has already paved and made the way. You just have to walk
Yes, he
into
had.
it.
Yes.
So for the first time ever, I went to New York City last year, and it is where I met a friend who has now become a friend. I met a guy named Tony Taylor. He was hosting,
Mhm.
right? And so we talked. I performed, and he did his hosting thing. And then afterwards, we were sitting at the table just having dinner, and everybody was, up mingling and everything, and we were talking. And he told me about the things that he was doing as an artist and all of that. And so um, then about a couple of months later, he reached out to me and he was in Paris already. He was there and he was working, and he was only supposed to be there for a short amount of time, but ended up staying for months, like a couple months during the summer, and made so many connections while he was there. And so he reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna, we're gonna bring you out here and I'm gonna connect you and all of that, and let's just see what happens." And my business partner is gonna reach out. So we had a conference, the three of us, and we talked and we made plans. And I had no idea that I was going to get Celebrity Artist of the Year award. I didn't know that. I just thought I was coming to perform, and it would be a great opportunity to network. And I say about a month or two or so, maybe 2 or 3 months before the actual event, the organizer, the founder, and Paulette Moquet reached out and she said, this is what we're doing. You got some performance time, and this is going to be your award. And I just walked right into it just like that, and it's just how it happened, all ease and flow.
And that's Celebrity Artist of the Year. Like, that's,
In Paris, that's
yeah, that's a
crazy.
big thing. That's
Yeah.
crazy. It is. But God does crazy things. Like stuff that we think is crazy really isn't crazy. Yeah.
The Bible
When
says
you
the prophet has no honor in his own country, and I'm not saying my country hasn't honored me, but I believe that he's on to some bigger things,
yeah,
you know, to
yeah, yeah,
glorify his name.
yes, getting the word out, or yeah, thinking about it, like, yeah, you got to get the word out outside of your circle. It's crazy
Absolutely.
because it said everyone will know. Everyone will know.
Uh,
Now the show Empire, I was looking it up. I'm like, okay, now what does she do on Empire? Which is kind of funny to me. You played Shine the exhibit for
uh-huh.
y'all that don't know, the rapper Exhibit, that did he have Pit My Rides too? I think he had Pit My
Yes.
Rides. I think that's
Yep.
Exhibit. Okay. You played the mother of his children on Empire.
I did. Yeah.
What was that like?
Let me tell you, I always got these stories. I have these stories, right? So I was a teenager or, young adult when Pimp My Ride came out on MTV all those years ago. And
Yeah.
my mom had given me her 94 Pontiac Grand Am, right? Still good, mint condition. And that was my car. And I was like, hey, in college, and I'm like, I wish Exhibit would pimp my ride. How do they get selected? How
Yeah.
do they find these people and come and pimp their cars out and all that stuff? And so I was like, I always wanted to meet Exhibit. He seemed to be fun and very energetic and everything. So that was all those years ago when I had that hope and holding on. Like, I hope I get to meet Exhibit one day. I hope he pimps my ride, whatever the case may be. I just wanted to meet him.
Mhm.
And so the owner of a casting agency in Chicago reached out to me a couple years ago, and she was like, the directors of Empire saw your photos. They were glam shots, and she said, send me some with no makeup, just regular hair and all that stuff. They want to see what you look like. And so I
Right.
did, and she said, I'll get back with you and let you know what they say. And so she got back with me, and she was like, okay. She was like, here's the booking email. She sent the booking email and all of that. And that's just how it happened. I was supposed to go in October, but then I ended up going early in September. And when I got there, I didn't know, how things were going to be, what the setup was going to be, how the scene would play out, or, none of that. I didn't have any of
Mhm.
those details. But they had vetted me, and really went through my Instagram and social media pages to see what I did and the work that I had been doing already. And so, because at one point I was concerned, I was concerned that, okay, if I'm playing, a partner, to him, his baby's mother or whatever,
Okay.
is it going to be some intimacy in these scenes? Am I going to have to compromise and jeopardize all that I've worked for as a gospel artist and trying to do things, in a modest way? Am I going to have to compromise, while being on this show? And when I tell you, God is good, like he's good for real, even down to the wardrobe that I had on that first scene, the clothes and everything. I had on a jogging suit with sneakers or something, sitting on the porch, and so they made sure that I was covered, right? And I didn't have to ask for that. They knew what I did, and so
Mhm.
we tried on a couple outfits, and they was like, put a tracksuit on her, and we're gonna roll with that, and just put her hair to the back, and that's gonna be good for her. And it was windy in Chicago, right? So anyway, I'm sitting outside, and we're on the porch, and I'm talking, and the other baby mama, we ended up having a connection. Her brother-in-law was the armor bearer for the church that I started my Christian hip hop ministry in.
What?
I kid you not. I kid you not. Of all the thousands of people that submitted, and the two that get selected, our connection, because she was just like, my brother-in-law lives in Mississippi. He's in the church, and I was like, oh, okay. And she told me his name, and I was like, wait a minute, And so yes, her brother-in-law was armor bearer for the pastor of the church that I started the Christian hip hop ministry in. It's the first church that accepted the gift and allowed us to go forth. And so I'm knowing I'm in the right place at the right time. Then
Yes.
rolls in Exhibit,
Mhm.
and so while we were taking a break when we started filming, what's crazy about the scene is that Fox, or at least Empire, had sponsorship, I believe, it had to be with Ford at the time or something, and there was a new vehicle that came out. And so a part of the shooting of that scene, the vehicle that he pulled up to the house in, they were also shooting a commercial for it that they ran advertisement for. just making that connection with Pimp My Ride. It was a car was involved and was highlighted in this scene, right? And so then we take a break or whatever, and he calls us over, and we walk over. We're talking to him and everything, and he calls his wife on the phone, like how he would call people on the phone and make these connections on the show.
Uh-huh.
And he calls his
Oh
wife on the
my
phone, his
God.
wife at the time, and is like, "Hey, I'm out here with my baby mamas. Here, talk to her." And he puts me on. It gives the phone to me, and I'm like, hello." And we all busted out laughing. Like it was pretty cool. He's a great guy. It was really fun, a good time, right?
Wow. You spoke that into existence as a child. You
Listen, my
spoke it
mother.
out.
No, here's how it really happened. Before I ever any casting agency ever saw me, my mother called me during season 1 of Empire, and she
Hmm.
said, "There's this show on Fox, and it's starring Terrence Howard and Taraji P Henson." She said, "You should watch
Love
it.
it.
It's about a family building. They have a record label. You should watch it because you may see something that may help you with your music career." And I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, okay. I watch it. Wasn't big on watching television." She called me for the first 3 weeks every time a new episode came on and asked me if I had caught Empire. And every time
Hmm.
I would tell her no because I was in Bible study during that time and it came on during the same time of Bible study.
Okay.
And so one day I said, I'm going to sit down and watch it on a Saturday. I'll binge watch. I watched the first 3 episodes and I called my mom on the phone and we started talking like the soaps, talking about the things that were going on in the show. And I said, I'm going to be on there one day. And she was like, yeah, you just had a faith and, believe in God can do the impossible. And I said, I saw myself. I had a vision. I saw myself on the stage with Terrence and Taraji. Never saw Exhibit, never saw being his baby mom, none of that. I saw myself standing on the stage with Terrence and Taraji. And so then that was in 2015, and that was season 1. Season 4 was 2 years later after I had this vision now. And that's when I got the call. That's when the connection was made. And first scene, Terrence and Taraji, they weren't in that particular scene, but they called back months later and said, "We need you back in Chicago." And I flew up in that last scene because Exhibit had gotten killed. Not Exhibit, but Shine got killed off of the show.
Hmm.
We had to memorialize him, and they needed the baby's mamas in Club Leviticus that night. And I was standing on the stage with Terrence and Taraji, just like I saw.
Oh my God, this is too much.
It
This
is a
is
lot. It's so
this.
many stories. I
Oh
promise.
my. I,
All
wow.
supernatural miracles. I couldn't make it up. I couldn't have planned it myself like that. I've just been going with the flow, my sister, just going with the flow.
Oh my. So okay. So did you envision the Stellar Wars? Did you envision?
I saw all of that. God showed me all. When I prayed, God put me in the right place with the right people at the right time. I can show you text messages and inboxes to my coworkers. They knew about these dreams that I was having. I don't know if you remember that video that Michael Jackson, he was driving around like in a space shuttle or something, and all these
Yes.
different objects were floating.
Look. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. I got my blankets behind me. Yeah. So I know what you're talking about.
And so all these objects were floating around in that video. That's the only way
My
I can
God.
describe it. I had a dream, and it's like I was walking almost like on Hollywood Boulevard or something. I remember, seeing all these different buildings and just, this environment. And in the atmosphere, all of these awards were floating around me, right? All these
My
awards were
God.
floating around me in this dream. And I woke up and I never forgot. And I remember when God told me to do this. It took me 8 weeks to start writing. And he stopped me in my tracks one day and said, if you don't do it, everything that I ever showed you is not going to happen. And that scared me because he had showed me some stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And so every time I receive an award, um, sister, to me, it's a gift from God. It's not
Absolutely.
about a status. It's not about an accolade for me. It's a manifestation of what happened in heaven, and God is saying, and He is rewarding me, right, for my faithfulness, for my diligence, for my yes, for me being obedient, for me continuing to uplift His name, even when people told me to go back to secular, because there is really not a lot of money in gospel, and especially gospel rap. There's not a whole lot of support when it comes to radio and certain outlets and platforms That's why anybody who is trying to get with me in the way and reaching out like how you did, I'm not turning out anything because everything means something. Someone is going to hear something on here on tonight and is going to be encouraged and be
Yes.
inspired, and want to continue
Yes.
on and not give up. And so
Yes.
that is why I'm here. That is why I'm using my voice. And God continues to instruct me and put me in places to be able to continue to pass that along. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what happened in your past or what's going on now. You know, do the thing that God has called you to. Use your gifts, use your passions, your talents and all of that. Use it to serve God, to serve others. And I promise you, He's going to take care of you and He will show you His goodness.
People don't understand that. It's like everything you're telling me right now is like such confirmation for me.
Amen.
You
Amen.
just you can tell people, well, God told me or God showed me, and in the back of their mind, they probably think you're crazy. So
Okay.
it's just it's something. It's yeah. Look, I want to cry again. But
Go
that's
ahead.
just God's goodness. That's just God's goodness. And it's to watch you like,
Mm.
and it seems
Wow.
like it to you, it seems like a long period of time, but hearing your timeline is so
Yes.
short to have achieved everything you've achieved. And then you put God first above everything.
Amen.
God gets the glory for all of it. He gets the glory. And I'm
Not to
just
cut you off, but God just told me to tell you, and I don't
oh
do this
Lord.
a lot. I prophesy. I'll tell some people some stuff. It's some folks that's in a millionaire status. Okay, right now, I ain't
Mm.
even gotten there yet. But God told me to tell you, as you say, you about to cry again. I said, let it out. He said, tell her as she releases her tears, I'm going to help her release her fears. God is releasing,
Yeah.
as you release tears, you are releasing fear as well. So
Oh my
cry
Lord.
and let it all out because you've been holding
It's
on to some
crazy.
stuff and He's cleansing you.
Oh, you, you
Because
don't even understand.
there's some
You
stuff
don't
you
even
got to
understand.
let go.
Yeah.
And God is
Yeah.
getting ready to propel you and to move you forward. Don't be fearful, be faithful. Trust Him. He knows the way. You are where you're supposed to be right now, and you have so much more to do. So much more to do.
Okay. You're gonna stop making me cry. This not, but I'm better now. I know to have tissue near me because I never know when somebody gonna give a word. But this was not what I was expecting. So
Mm,
like when we connected, I knew. I thank the Lord because when we talked and you didn't know, like you had no idea that you were booked. That, but you weren't actually booked because the email said that it wasn't confirmed with King Jacob. It wasn't confirmed at the time.
thanks,
But
Jacob.
yes, thank you so much. He's been that's a connection from Senior G. Like when I mentioned Senior G and all the connections. When you were talking about doors opening, like these are people I would have never thought I would have been connected to
Yes,
had it not been for
yes,
God, had not been for him. And you weren't able to do the other show because you were going to be in Paris. And
yes,
the fact that you were able to do this show, I
yes,
just thank the Lord at that moment. I said, Lord, it was meant to be.
yeah.
But I didn't know that all of this was coming with it. I had
Honey, I didn't
no
know either.
idea.
He's hitting us with some stuff right now. We praise Him. We thank Him for it, for His word,
Oh,
for Him
yes.
being faithful.
Because yeah, and he's faithful in all things, um your song Old Time Religion. I want to get back to the music because I don't want to cry no more. I don't want to cry. What made you do that? It was old time. What made you do that song? Do you remember?
Um, so the first verse is actually something that I had written years ago. And for some reason I just was, I went back to it. And
Mhm.
I was just like, you know what? I should flip old time it for whatever reason, some of the lyrics in that first verse back then I wasn't thinking about old time religion. But when I
Right.
revisited it years later in my notebook, I was like, I should flip old time religion and make it a hip hop song. So I went to go and look up and you try to research and see, how much of a clearance I would have to do and everything. And this song is so old and it's been done by so many other, people, gospel singers or whatever. Um, it's so old that it was in public domain, which means we can move forward on it, right? And so after I did that and made sure that I was good to go, I mean, even if it was not public domain, it still is a process to get the clearance to be able to use it. That's how it happened. It was that old verse that I revisited that then brought old time religion, um, you know, to thought, and I just decided to flip it, and that's what I did.
It flipped well. That was one of my check songs. That was as I was trying to go through my three. It yeah,
Yeah,
that yeah. But like I said, there were no three. There was like six of them, 6 to 8 of them.
yeah. I
I
think old
mean,
time religion is a good merge between what gospel is willing to accept. Um, it holds on to some form of tradition, but
mhm,
as well as highlighting and bringing in and really in marrying hip hop with, traditional gospel music or what you would consider to be a traditional gospel song. And I think
mhm.
that helps the older listener, the more mature listener, as well
Yeah, that's
as those who are lovers of hip hop, music. And so it's a little bit of something for everybody in there. And who can't relate to watching soap operas with their grandmother or.
right. Days of our lives and things. And I was going to ask you because, like, I remember when Kurt Franklin came out, and the church had such a hard time accepting him because they
Yeah.
were like, his music is too worldly, it's too secular, that's not gospel. And then I look at it now, it's like that's real laid back compared to what's going on now. So, do you feel kickback from like the older saints in the church? Do you feel like a little pause?
Um, they actually embrace me. They actually embrace me. I feel like a lot of them sometimes enjoy the music, the message of the music,
It's that
more than a
message.
younger listener because they understand and they have the
Mhm.
word in them.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think it was like that before. At first, I remember the first time I performed, I ain't preaching to the choir in a church. And there was this church mother sitting on the front row. And she stood up and she was holding her hand up and she was praying so hard. And I thought that while I was performing, because this is my first time, I ain't discerned nothing. I don't know nobody. I hadn't been out there like that. I wasn't seasoned. I knew how to rap and I can deliver my music.
Hmm.
But as far as, knowing about church dealings and all that stuff or whatever, this was new to me.
Hmm.
And so I thought that she was praying against, the music that I was doing because it was new
Hmm.
woman and they never had rap in the church before. And she was holding her hand up and she was praying so hard. And the harder she prayed, the harder I rapped, right? Because I was like, I did sense in the atmosphere there was opposition. But I was like, I'm not going to be, I'm going to go hard as she going then. Praying hard, I'm going to rap hard because God told me to do this. So nobody's going to intimidate me with their prayers or their, whatever words that they're trying to use to stop me and deter me. But afterwards, after the performance, it was a family and friends day at one of my grandmother's friends' church. And the older lady walked up to me, the church mother walked up to me and she said, "That's right, baby. You tell them, you take them to the streets. And Johnny, take it to the streets." She actually liked it,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, so yeah, they embrace it now because they're listening for the words and the message.
Right.
So if
Right.
you get past the beat and listen to the words, you can't deny that God has said this.
You
I
can't.
don't write anything unless it truly comes from God. I don't. I try not to. So if people reach out for a feature, sometimes they expect to get it in 2 days. If he gives it
Right.
to me in 2 days, yes. But if
Hmm.
not, we will wait on the Lord. And if you don't want to wait on Him, I don't want to be a part of it. Now I know we have deadlines and stuff and all of that, and so I can, I put a demand on the Lord. I need for this report in right now. We got to do this by such and such date. But I believe in operating in divine time as best as possible. It
Yeah,
just
God
makes
is
sense
in all of
better.
this. He's in all of this. I love it. Water. I was like, oh my God. I was like, because when I'm reading them before I would listen to the songs, I'm like, water, what could that be about? This album is like everything. I mean, I really love this. It's on my auto play now because I don't play too many songs in the car because I try to focus. I'm older. I'm one of them older people that gotta be quiet, gotta focus type
Mhm.
drivers. But no, this is gonna be my in the car. Turn it up so everybody around me when you stop at that light can yeah, be like, what is she listening to? Right?
That's what
Like
I'm talking
that's
about.
yes, spread the word. And I'm definitely gonna have everybody I know listen to it and buy it off of Apple because that's where I got mine. I bought it right, downloaded it right from iTunes,
Thank you,
and
ma'am. Thank you.
absolutely, I try to support. I'm like, I don't want to just listen to the one song. I'm like, I know there has to be something on there for me, and this album ministered to me. It was like it was talking to me,
Wow.
with the hip hop rap, unlike the worldly rap. It don't We were talking about this on another show, how it all sounds the same, the beats and everything sound the same.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
this one right here, it hits different for like every song. Like,
Thank you for saying that. I wanted an original sound, and I told the producer I don't want my tracks to sound anything like Christian hip hop, those same sounds, same
nope.
sounding songs. I want something totally different. Give me lots of instruments. I'm from the South. I'm from Mississippi. I'm from the birthplace of America's music. Give me all kinds of instruments. I want bluesy sounds, jazz sounds, hip hop sounds. Marry it all, and then give me something cinematic and let's make a production.
Yeah, it's great. It's yeah, this I wasn't expecting this, but I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know you. Like so I didn't know what to
Expect
expect.
it.
And it's like encountering you is like one of the highlights. You have highlights, moments you're like, I'll never forget. Like
Yeah.
meeting you, it's just been amazing. Like it was like I knew you. I'm like, I know I'm bothering her with all these messages. I know she got a lot going on, but you were always graceful. You didn't chop my head off. You wasn't a celebrity. You like
Yeah.
answered me and I appreciate I appreciate it. And even though we have 10 minutes left, and I know you probably have a lot to do,
Yes.
but is there something you want to tell the people before I let you go? And I'm going to go out with one of your songs, if you don't mind, too, when we're done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Once again, I always like to, whenever I'm given time, I like to encourage. And so I just want to say, to the person who's out there, you may want to be a music artist, you may want to be an author, you may want to model, you may want to act, you may want to host, you may want to have your own podcast or platform or whatever it is that you want to do. Start your own business. You know what I mean? You may want to serve the community, open a nonprofit. Um, Everything that you need to know, the information that you need and you're seeking is on the internet. You can do some research, read, educate yourself. That's what I did. How I got so far ahead of the game was because I was up reading, reading and researching, finding out how things work and making it happen, and then connecting to people who are doing the same things that you are doing and not being intimidated, not a competition, but a collaboration. Seeing how you can exchange gifts or barter gifts and help one another to push each other forward. Because, I hear people say all the time, it's enough out there for everybody to eat. That is true. That is so true. But a lot of times people are not concerned about the next person's belly. They only concerned about what they can put in their mouth and eat to fill theirs. And so um, I saw someone just said knowledge is power. There's also sharing information. There is power in information sharing. And so if there's something that that you want to know, people reach out to me all the time because they are want to be an author or want to write books or trying to build better relationships in the music industry and stuff like that. And I'm always an open book and giving information. I've done the research, I've put in the work, I have the experience, and in some cases the wisdom. And so don't be afraid to share the information that you know, because what that's going to do is open up a place for you for some when you get to a place where you don't know. Someone's going to pour into you because you have the information. Everybody wants to come to you. everybody wants to call right now while we're talking. I don't know what they want, but praise the Lord. I'll call them back in a little bit. But I just want to encourage you to find out what it is that you want to do. What is your purpose? What is your calling? What is your passion? What's your talent? What's your gift? What do you love doing? What would you do if you weren't getting paid for it? That's not a bother to you. It's not a hassle to you. It's not a haggle. Find out that thing, and start and put a plan together and start working, researching, finding resources. Everything is online. I found out how to become a self-published author by going onto YouTube and researching it. And I watched enough videos to make something catered for what I need and customized to my needs and the audience that I wanted to reach. And I took some places, took some from some other places, put all that knowledge together, and I've just released my third book last year, right? A manifestation journal entitled Girl, God is in the Details. I also have
Let me
two
get it.
children's books. One is called Hippos Downtown. The other one, My Dolly and Me, which is a collaboration with my daughter when she was 5. So she's been an author since 5 years old. There's ways to do anything. To do anything that you want to do, you set your mind to, and just believe God for it. That if He called you to it and He created you in this way to be like this and to do this work, that He is going to finish the thing that He started. But it's going to take us as vessels to be able to be His eyes, be His ears, be His hands, His feet in the earth to walk this thing out, to see it through. And if you can see something in your head and you have a vision and you imagine something, it is possible to manifest it in real life and to have it. So if you can see it, you can be it. Before I made it to the Stellars, I saw the Stellars. You know, there was a prophetic act in the church one time, and our apostle told us to walk up on the stage. She called all the musicians and music artists. I wasn't even writing music or doing anything with gospel rap at the time. I'm sitting oblivious as to what do I really want to do. And she said, "Get up and receive your Stellar Award." And the musicians got up, and guess who went up last behind them? I did, and hadn't wrote a song. The last song I wrote was a secular song years prior. So doing things prophetically and acting things out, that helps too. And sing your praise. Sing your praise ahead of time. And that helps. You praise God now for the victory before you even get started on that thing.
Yes.
Trust me, you're gonna get to it, you know?
Yes. That was amazing. Thank you. Oh my. Oh my. Are you like a not a pastor, a elder or deacon, anything like that? Are you? Are you just
um I'm a licensed ordained prophetess. I don't use that title though. The certificate is sitting somewhere in the house.
I knew there
I
was
said I
something
was gonna
going
get it
on.
framed. I've had it for some years.
Hmm.
Haven't gotten it framed, but I really don't use that. I
Hmm.
just it's just what I do and who I am, and but I'm not big on title stuff. I really am not.
I love it. I think you're an amazing, amazing woman. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you, and may God continue to bless you in everything that you do, everything that you touch. Um, Continue to have all your dreams manifesting for you and your daughter. May everything you want come to pass.
Amen.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna let you go because, like I said, I know you got things go to do. I'm gonna
Okay.
play your song. This is the song that she's not. This is the song that you're nominated for, right? He's been good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna put so for y'all that missed it in the beginning, y'all gonna get to hear it again. So that's Miss Tiffany Stellar Award nominee, author, actress, woman of God, prophetess,
Wow.
author, model,
Uh huh.
beautiful woman. Just yes, thank you so much. So you guys go out and buy her album. He's been good on the iTunes and wherever else you can
Everywhere.
find it.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to play this song and we're going to end out. We're going to end out. Well, wait, a big shout out to the VGN Village Global Network. They're the ones that connected me to you, Senior G and
Thank
all of
you.
them. So, yes, to all of them. So you guys have a wonderful night, Miss Tiffany. I'll sneak in your inbox. So, and I'm going to be watching those Stella Awards. I'm going to be watching and cheering for you.
Thank you.
Okay. You have a super wonderful night, and I appreciate you.
Sure will. Thank you. Have a great one.
You too. Bye bye. So that concludes tonight's Tea Time with Bunky. I hope you were blessed. That was an amazing show. She's an amazing woman. So all those that know the word of prayer, pray for her. Um, that she wins the Stellas Awards. They're on July. Stella Awards is on July 15th. So if you've never seen the Stella Awards before, this is my first time looking actually into the camera tonight. If you've never seen the Stella Awards, make sure you go out there and watch it. Make sure you watch it. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it. If you're into gospel music, if you want music for your soul, which is gospel music, make sure you tune in. Um, it's it's amazing. So I will see you guys next week. Next week I have the fellas from the Black Library and Monticello, and we're going to be talking about all the things that they're doing. Amazing work, amazing work. So I appreciate you all. Make sure you remember you can watch this tonight listen to this tonight on LLR Ohio, the Tattoo Shop Radio, Sasquatch Boot Hill Radio, Cuzzo FM Radio. Friday morning at 8:30, Wapter Music FM, Culture Shock Radio, Southern Soul Gold. And on Sundays, you can listen on the Godfidence Radio, which is sponsored by Kimmy K. They're all powered by Zeno FM and supported by Online Radio Box. Make sure you tell a friend, share the show. Share the show so they can see Miss Tiffany. People can know who she is. Well, she's known, but this way everybody can know who she is. Let's get her name out there. Like I can't even name a rapper. Not one can even come to my mind. But like them, get her out there. Like everybody knows them. So you guys have a wonderful night. I appreciate you. Remember to tell a friend and tell a friend. Like, share, follow, and subscribe, comment, and I will get back to you. Tea Time at Bunky. Now, if you go to the page, I have a phone number. So you can get the number, call in if you have any ideas, any suggestions, what I can do better and what I cannot do. Either way, my show's ordained by God, so I'm probably still going to do it my way, but suggestions are welcome. So you guys have a wonderful night. I appreciate you. Bye-bye now.